and reboots, and you have to pull up everything that was on it. Yeah, I thought it
guess that.
was cheap first, but I thought, hold out. Not ready to give up yet. It was chilly this morning. It was chilly this morning. Yeah. Yeah, it was very pleasant. Yeah. Good. Well, it was 40. Yeah, yeah. It warmed up fairly quickly. Got safer, like warm up, so. Yeah. Spring. I did some boots.
Sorry for the technical delay.
Hey, it could have been worse. On?
But, so we don't technically have a chair now, and that's why we're here, to reorganize and discuss, the future meetings and planning. So normally the chair would call the meeting to order. Is there somebody that wants to act as chair tonight?
I can do it.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 6:06 PM. And roll call. Misty Wood. Beth Varney. Priscilla Terry.
Greg Fuller?
Jill Hauser.
Drew Carter.
Okay. And now approval of the agenda. So I make a motion to approve the agenda? Second. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? We're good. Okay, now, organizing of the board.
Wonderful. We're here, so now really the only organization of this board is a chair and vice chair. Somebody who will just run the meeting and, organize things, and then a vice chair that would step in if the chair is not available or along those lines.
I nominate Elizabeth Varney.
Second. For chair and vice chair, or just?
Chair. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Good?
opposed? We're good.
All right.
You want your seat back? Do you want your seat here?
Doesn't matter to me where I sit.
You can have
We
it.
can move it later. Somebody, they stuck this here, so.
Oh. Well, that's good.
They put the chair over there usually because I sit there for the
Yeah,
select
to make
board
it easier.
meeting to make it
Yep.
easier, so I don't have to yell down the table. Yeah,
Vice chair.
knock it off. Do we have anybody who's willing to either be nominated or step in for vice chair?
For Greg. To be vice chair. Second.
Guston? Are you gonna be showing up at most of the meetings?
Yeah.
The only reason that I say that is because I started a new job and I'm working 60, 65 hours a week.
Oh.
And so it's,
A lot.
yes.
Well, we can say no. We can vote
No,
Yeah.
and I'll do vice chair, but yeah. Sure. Okay.
Because we should have a pretty good schedule of meetings, so you'll know when they're happening once we get everything organized.
Yeah, and I can work around to a certain extent. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll do it.
works for me. All in favor? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll abstain. So that way if I screw up, I can
Okay.
blame you guys.
I don't believe we have any old business, do we? Old business?
How about minutes?
What?
Oh, minutes, do we have minutes from?
So I don't have minutes with me tonight. I will check to see where we left off, with minutes. So the minute taker that we had left the employment with the town. So I need to find out where, That was one of the other issues that I needed to discuss with you. I guess we could do it under old business because it was something that was brought up at the end of last year. So just to give you a little history about the Budget Committee, it's gone through a few stages. The Budget Committee always had a secretary and a transcriber for minutes. There was a board makeup that decided they were going to get rid of that position, and they were going to go with an AI software to do all their transcription and somebody else said they were going to step into the administrative duties of organizing and keeping everything out. Needless to say, it fell flat, very flat. The software that was purchased had all these errors. It was requiring members twice as much time to go through and correct the errors of the auto transcription. So basically the troubleshooting, so they scrapped the software a couple years ago. Somebody had asked me from the board last year, and I can't remember, I don't know if it was Greg or somebody, about the possibility of getting or secretary or assistant to take over those roles again. You have a budget line item and it's funded because they used the funding from that line to pay for the auto transcription. Now we don't have the auto transcription, so the money's still there, even in the default. The only option I have to present to you tonight, I can search for somebody outside, but Carol, the deputy finance manager, offered to take on that role, to attend the meetings, to transcribe, do that. It's kind of similar. Kat down in the building office is the Concom secretary, and that's a role that she takes on in addition to her role where the board themselves pays a stipend out of their line, and they do transcriptions after hours, and they attend the meetings, and they take notes, and then they help me coordinate the meetings. Her being in finance helps a lot because you guys usually require quite a bit of paperwork and backup, and she has the ability to pull those reports herself without going to somebody else to get them. But as far as an in-house person to fill that role, that would be the only option I have here. You know, we can certainly take it in a different direction. We can do whatever the board chooses. It's your budget, and
Sounds good.
you know, I'm just trying to get back some sort of normalcy where we can keep up with minutes, get them up on the thing, get things going. Because right now, the only way in the interim, we had a minute taker that was hired as an employee, a part-time employee, who was taking minutes specifically for zoning and planning, which is very in-depth, especially with the meetings we've been having lately. And when the software failed and we didn't have anybody, we were sort of subbing her out to do the minutes, but she got either overwhelmed or a better opportunity, and she resigned and walked. So now we have a brand new minute taker for those two boards, but they just started a month ago.
What's the name of that would be
Carol Long.
Carol, what's her name?
Long.
Okay. Sounds reasonable to me.
How much money, how much money do we have in our line item?
So the line item currently has $2,700, a little over $2,700.
2,700? Wow. When I was on, I think we had like 200 or 300. Okay. So that's enough to get,
Yeah, absolutely. What I can do, I don't have the figure off the top of my head. I believe it's right around $2,200-$2,300 was the last stipend for the year. Basically, the way that we did it, instead of trying to keep track, because a lot of people were doing minutes with laptops at home, instead of trying to keep track of the hourly, they made them stipend positions because then you don't get into issues with overtime with the town's employment.
Yep.
But I can certainly match it in consistence with where it was.
it's always been hard to get somebody to take minutes for the budget committee.
Yeah, and
Woman in the total flow used to get stuck when I was on.
I think having Carol volunteer is incredible. I think that's a great opportunity, very serendipitous.
And she is fully prepared with that to a lot of the minute takers will do it off the video. She's gonna be here with me at the meeting so that she's hearing firsthand. There's no sort of gap there, but also when you guys ask for, hey, we'd really like to see the reports for this, or we'd really like to see this, actual expenditures for these years or whatnot, she's taking notes and she's getting that, and I'm not so responsible
I just wondered,
to
like,
forget.
for that high stipend, I mean, compared to the amount of meetings that we're actually having, like, I just looked, like, last year we had 5 meetings. That's like $500
That's it?
a meeting.
5 meetings is all we had?
That's what I've had.
But how long did the meetings last?
I don't think they lasted that long.
There was
Well,
one that went.
it's the
for
length
maybe
of the
2.5
meeting and-
hours.
It's the length of the meeting and then it's the time deciphering her notes and writing it all up in a presentable
I mean,
form.
if that's.
Yeah, I
If
think it was between like three,
Somebody else is getting paid for when we only have so many meetings. That's, I just want it to be within the,
I think
Within a
350 to 450, isn't that what it's basically costing per meeting now?
Yeah, and the ones that are getting paid that right now don't physically attend the meetings. They do it off the video. That's just for the minute taking. As part of this, I required that she be here, and she wanted to be here anyways, just because it's easier. So she's gonna actually be here through the meetings, taking handwritten notes to do that along with everything else. The other thing is that beyond just the meetings, she will do all the board coordination. So we ran into problems last couple of years. Stacy's been trying to fill in that role, and it's become very difficult because she's responsible for the Board of Selectmen. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of meetings and a lot of things going back and forth. And her trying to schedule meetings with the budget committee around everything else that she's responsible for became very difficult. It wasn't very smooth. So Carol's also going to take on that role as the budget committee's go-to.
cause I.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, what it comes down to is she's the one that's gonna be setting up the meetings, setting up the dates, setting up the videos, doing that. Right now, Stacy's doing all of that. And I know she's doing it as a favor to me. But getting all the materials prepared, I mean, tonight was pretty easy, got one page, but usually it's the book, it's all the printouts. She sets up the binders, before all the meetings so that you have what's new and presented, what you've already voted on, and keeps track of all that. It's more of the overall flow and organization. So, but
Keeps it all updated
Mhm.
as we go.
The budget committee has no authority to hire anybody, right? That's what you would have to do, or the selectmen would have to do. You'd have to hire somebody for us. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just asking how.
oh, you mean if you wanted to hire
No,
somebody else?
no, if we
or-
wanted to,
To have her do it, do we need to make a motion? Do you need, or are you all set just bringing her in to do it?
No, I would have a motion from the board. You're not hiring, she's already hired as an
Right.
employee. It would be the board's authorization to expend funds as a stipend for her to take that role, basically. Not so much.
Funds be that we expend, it's not the whole 2,700, right?
Said 22 to 23.
Yeah, I think it's either 21, 22. What I was gonna do is I would go back to what the last stipend was that was paid and just stay consistent with that. That would be a couple years ago.
And that was when
So-
Carolyn was here.
Yes.
Does she know that amount and is she okay with that amount?
To my knowledge, I don't know if she knows exactly that amount, but, she knows the ballpark. And, she was okay with it. Of course, I'll finalize things. She asked if she should be here tonight, and I said, well, I gotta talk to the board first, so I didn't have her here tonight. I wanted to make sure you guys could speak freely. Not that we're in a non-pub or anything, but, the fact of the matter is, you guys hadn't approved it yet, so. She is gonna do the minutes for tonight, if you guys are okay with moving forward with that. She is okay with doing that off the video tonight. But yes, we will sit down and I will actually, I have to do a personal action form, a PAF form that we do for any kind of change in rate or anything like that, so.
So this is something that this committee needs to vote on, or can it be done through consensus?
I would think a vote would be a little bit more formal, especially where you're expending funds.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll make the motion then that we secure the services of Carol Long based on the expense of a stipend, previous stipends paid but not to exceed, and I'll say $2,300, just to be on the safe side, to act as our secretary, and I guess that's it.
Sure.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
All right.
Just one thing.
Yes, sir.
So minutes are supposed to be posted, I think, 144 hours, or we're supposed to have a draft copy within a certain amount of time. I don't know if that happened last year. It was always in the back of my head.
So
that'll
the
be-
drafts were available because they put them out in draft form. It's just, it takes a little while to get to the meetings and get them approved, but, they just have to be available, and we always leave the live stream and the videos available and the interim as well. So that is always sufficed, to satisfy the statutory timeline.
Yeah, that's what I was just,
Yeah.
So, what do I say, Madam Chairman, Mrs. Chairman? Okay.
The what?
What should I call you? So, in the new business, last year, there were a couple times when I was gonna be late.
Yeah.
And I had the email, and the only email address I had was Stacy, and it never made it through. A suggestion is, and this is what I did last year, create a new email account for everybody. So if anything ever happens and, if if our emails get subpoenaed or whatever can happen, legally, at least you have like a clean email account that's just budget committee. That's what I did. Because sometimes if there's legal issues, you could get, they can, what's the word I want?
91A,
91A.
91A request.
Right,
So-
so instead of taking all your emails, like, from your own account, they want the one account that you use for, the
For
budget
the
committee.
budget committee?
And,
You
and,
create a budget committee account.
Yeah,
for
that's what I did.
yourself, Yeah.
well, I'm just gonna suggest that everybody do it, and then we share email addresses, because if I can't make it, sending it to Stacy, it didn't make it to the committee.
Well.
Well,
the-
it will with Carol, I will say that. That was the problem with Stacy, is Stacy was gone before you guys got here.
Yeah.
Right, and
Stacy Carol's going to be
Right.
tasked with,
Okay,
with.
so the reason Stacy sends us out emails with the blind copy, and you have to send back to her, and it doesn't go to everyone, is because if they go to everyone, it becomes a public document and it's in violation of 91A, because you're having conversations outside of a meeting with
More
the,
than the. quorum.
more than the majority of the board.
If you reply all, you're.
Yes.
You're quorum.
You're a quorum. So you can't do that. So even if we all create BC
Yep.
accounts, you can't put everyone on it and send it out because it can create a quorum being of communication.
Give you my cell phone number and you can text me.
Carol will, I don't think you'll have the issues that you thought, that you did last year because of the fact that Stacy was filling in. She was filling in, she wasn't. But Carol, and these are a great example of some of the problems and, hiccups through the last year, 2 years actually, was trying to sort of fill the gaps, get the communication flowing, make things a lot smoother. It was like pulling teeth. It was just hard. So I really think that, hopefully that this is the goal of making this step and getting Carol tasked with it so somebody has some ownership over
Yeah, the only
coordination.
reason that I mention it is because last year I missed one meeting and I got stuck in traffic. I don't know where it was. I think it was in Worcester. And then another time I was gonna be late and I sent it and it went to people on the year before's budget committee. So, they're probably getting emails saying, who is this? So okay, yeah, I mean, we can have cell phone just to text and say, I'm gonna be late.
Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
would
that's
think if you want to, you can utilize my cell phone number. Cause I plan to, I mean, unless there's something that comes up, and I usually attend every budget committee meeting, so. Just so that even if I have department heads here, so I can bail them out when you attack them. No, I'm just kidding.
Gonna be when you said that.
Yeah.
So that just takes away my thing again, if I'm late, if I get stuck somewhere, if I get stuck in traffic,
Sure.
just to let you guys know that I'm not skipping out. Okay, thank you.
And we do have, no, maybe we don't. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we have a vacancy still?
No.
Well, it's Hal, I know that, but.
We still have a
Did Jill
vacancy?
take, Brock's place from last year when he was appointed just for last year? I
I
don't know,
thought-
I'm trying to figure, I think,
I
because I was
he was
thinking we had
just
one
in-
vacancy left.
I thought he was in until the election.
He was just appointed
Right.
for that fill-in, and he chose not to run.
Right.
And he's not coming back this year, so I just didn't know if that was still a vacancy, or if when Joe got elected this year, that it filled that vacancy. Yeah, I'll verify that, and we have plenty of people, which is great, this is,
I think.
with
we
everybody
have-
that we have here is more than usual.
because I think we
But
have
if we
s-
have an opening vacancy, I was just gonna let you guys know in case you knew anybody else that might wanna join in.
It should have been,
Yeah,
yeah,
because we got,
I think
Yeah, we only need one more.
had 7, right?
thinking back to the last election, I think,
No,
yeah,
it's
Jill took
7, right?
Brock's place and then Hal
Yeah,
got voted in. Like he
yeah,
He
Hal-
came in before the election and then got elected. So,
yeah, so he
Yeah.
has to be here,
So we're good, okay.
right? Is that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's correct.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, and either way, we have a lot more people than I normally have, so usually we're down 2 or 3 slots and
Yeah.
we're fighting to get a quorum, so this will be good. Do you want to, move on to talk about some scheduled dates for,
Yeah, are we ready for that?
that's up to you guys if you're ready to move on to calendar dates and stuff. So I did pull some available dates. One of the things that that is a little challenging right now is, and I still can set it up, is the Heike room's been out of commission for a little while, trying to get those files taken care of. So the only meeting room we have and that we're utilizing for every board and committee is this one. So that makes it a little bit difficult. The one thing I wanted to throw out to you, and I don't know how this day works for you guys, but does Wednesdays, for the most part, work? Because I will tell you that Wednesday is the only day of the week that no other board meets. So I actually have every Wednesday available right now. So if that's something that isn't a major conflict,
I can
I-
do
good,
every
except-
Wednesday except third Wednesday of the month.
I was gonna say, for me, it's the second. The second Wednesday.
okay.
The first and the.
I can't do the third Wednesday.
So I'm not sure which Wednesday this is, but
This is.
starting with one of the dates I have available, would September 24th.
That's the fourth Wednesday, so I think that might work.
Did we get it? Yeah. So the reason I would like to pick that as our next meeting date is the Board of Selectmen has not seen a budget yet. They will see a budget the next board meeting, which is, I believe, the 23rd? Is that the fourth Tuesday?
Yep.
So on the 24th, I will have budgets that the Board of Selectmen have seen and possibly approved for you. If we meet before the 24th, I don't have anything for you. So, because believe it or not, we're starting early this year, which is good. We're ahead of the game right now. Normally, we haven't met until I've already got budgets in front of the selectmen and stuff, and we do. I have gone through, not quite half yet, but almost half of all the department heads. By Monday, the 15th is the last day that they can present their budgets to me. And then everything is compiled to start going to the Board of Selectmen.
I have another board meeting that night, but that's an unusual, it's not a regular calendar thing, so I probably won't be at that particular meeting, but I'd be happy to look at the material
Okay.
to be caught up.
And October has 5 Wednesdays, so
Oh, boy.
that's good.
All right. Originally, coinciding with the board meetings, I circled the 15th and the 29th. I don't know how those work for you. And again,
That's
what's
the
that?
third.
That's the third for Beth, she can't
I
make
can't
that.
do
Oh.
the 15th.
I can do either, yeah, I can do those.
Well, we could do how about the 22nd, or is that the Wednesday?
Second, yeah.
You can do this one, 22nd?
Yep.
All right, that'll work. Then let's push it to the 22nd
This is 10/22.
and 22. Does the 29th work?
Wait a minute.
All right, so we got September 24th, October 22nd, and October 29th. Going into November, you tell me which Wednesday works for you guys. All right, this is the 12th, what's that, which one's that one?
12th, yeah.
That's not,
Second.
that's not good for Christie.
19th is probably the third one.
If that's something, the 26th is the night before Thanksgiving, so I don't know
Yeah, that's not a good.
if that's gonna work for anybody.
Both the 19th work for me.
Yeah, you're right, the 26th isn't gonna work, I'll cross that one out, because I won't be here.
No life there, won't
Yeah.
there?
My kid from Minnesota's coming up.
You can't do the 16th, Beth,
We can't do the 19th.
so.
So what I can do is,
The 12th.
so tentatively, let's do, you got, are you both, is everybody available on the 5th?
Yeah.
All right, so tentatively, go with that. That's 4 dates for meetings. And the reason why I say tentatively, because depending on what we get through and what I have for material for you, we can adjust. Because I'm not gonna have you come in if I only got one budget for you to look at.
Yeah, I was gonna
Something
say,
you don't
that's
say.
3 weeks in a row.
Right, so we may be through the bulk of it. The budget, so what my goal would be is through October that we get through the operating budget in the default. Because then we're gonna pop into warrant articles. So warrant articles will probably be through November, but I'm trying not to repeat past mistakes where we started late and drag into the holidays around December. There's nothing worse than trying to have meetings, the week before Christmas and stuff like that, so. I'm hoping that I'm trying to, get things organized, get things in play so that we're already scheduled for our public hearing, which will be roughly the first week of January is usually the public hearing. And I can bring next meeting, I will pull up the Municipal Association's calendar with key dates, which will tell us all the key dates of this year and going into 26 that we have to hit, which are, our markers that we have to by statute. So. All right, so just again, September 24th, October 22nd, October 29th, and November 5th. We will-
6 PM here?
Yes. And I will work on gathering whatever minutes that we don't have listed and to try to get them for that meeting so that we can catch up with Carol taking over on a clean slate, so.
Yeah.
So that's all I had that I needed to discuss with the board tonight. Unless there's any other business, any other questions, anything else that you want to discuss going into this year?
So who's planning on attending that webinar tomorrow? Yeah, I'll be there.
It's still up in the air for me, but I've seen it 3 or 4 times, so.
Certain day, isn't it?
Can I have the cliff notes?
It's a long day.
It's a very long.
Yeah, but I mean, numbers are never fun, so, but it is good information because they give you a lot of information about, the municipal rules and regulations when it comes to funding and budgeting, the different types and what funds can be used for, what funds can't, how they need to be allocated, because usually there's some type of vote, depending on who it has to come from, whether it comes from, it gives you a lot more, a lot of good backup information.
Is it being held up here?
Yes,
What's the time?
it's,
8:30?
It starts at 8:30.
To 4:30.
it's all day,
It's all day.
it's all day.
Can you just kind of come in for a little bit and then, because,
Sure.
I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
Sure.
Just don't disrupt the class.
When you come in, kick Drew so he wakes up.
I'm not promising anything, but if my day gets boring, maybe I'll.
There you go. We'll make sure that's in the minutes.
It's on the video.
Yeah. So there is definitely that tomorrow. I will tell you, just as a quick overview, since we're all here, the only marching orders that the department heads were given are two very specific ones. One is we're still holding at, a 4% maximum merit for the employees. It's been 2 years now that the employees have not got any raise. We've tried, at 4% is usually pretty much our standard. That's with no COLA, so it's the 4 and only the 4. We used to break it up where you had 2 COLA, 2 merit. The board a while ago decided that they weren't gonna do COLA and they were just gonna do performance-based merit. But that was the only thing. The only other marching order was focus on your necessities and no new projects or initiatives right now. So let's work as hard as we can to get a operating budget passed, is really what the focus is. We're not trying to put in anything real new. You're not gonna see anything real crazy. New initiatives, new big, new equipment purchases, things like that, unless it's ultimately needed. We can't get around it. But, you know, going into this, unfortunately, you're gonna see numbers that are reflective of 2 years of a default. The increases are gonna average close to 14%. And that's payroll alone. My goal and my initiative this year and directive is to get as much information out to the public. We're going to do a voting guide. I'm working on a podcast right now that is gonna be broadcasted. Some of these things that you're gonna see, like for instance, the fire department's gonna come in and they're gonna be probably $400,000 to $500,000 up. And the reason for that is the town approved 4 new firefighters in a special warrant article last year. If it does not go into the operating budget, it does not go to the default. We let go 4 full-time firefighters this year. Same thing, we have part-time building inspector. Town voted on it, funded it in a special warrant article, but they didn't pass the operating budget. None of those wages are carried over in the default. So that is an important thing I'm telling you now, but I need to get that to the public too. Because I'll tell you, hands down, they were supportive of putting full-time firefighters on so that we could actually go full-time. We weren't a full-time department. We've been on-call department. We've been hybrid for years. This year was really, truly the first time that we've been able to fill those shifts. And they were still hemorrhaging overtime.
Were
But-
they able?
What's that?
So there was also money there that they used at the beginning of the year before they filled the shifts that was in the overtime line item.
Yes.
So that overtime line should help offset some of the 500,000 because they're not having to use so much overtime.
Right, there is gonna be
Correct?
some give and take
Right,
there.
it's
Yeah.
supposed to be and
Yeah.
even off of that
Mhm.
for the most part.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that the increases that we're gonna be seeing that happen to be over and above that is because of the increases in the insurances. And, I know
Yeah.
insurance went up and all the workers' comp stuff all went up. They had increases that you don't have a choice, you have to pay it. Okay,
We got things with retirement.
yep,
The employer contributions went up. I
Yep.
believe on the fire side of things. It's either police or fire this
it
year.
went up on both.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and they're usually split through the year, so, so you got New Hampshire retirement insurances, and the bulk of what you're gonna see is just wages. So we're 2 years in default, so that means there are certain positions that are out there right now that don't have any funding. That don't, the reason we've made it work, and this is the big truth for the public, is that we made it work because we have not filled any positions. We have no town mechanic. We haven't for a year and a half. We're paying a private mechanic to fix all of our town vehicles. Luckily, our DPW director has a mechanical background because he's been offsetting as much as he can. So we save between benefits and pay probably $85,000, $90,000 a year by not having a mechanic. That's where we're coming up with money. We're down 4 truck drivers. So I have 4 brand new plow trucks down there with plows on them and no drivers. That's gonna be serious coming into the winter. Right. And that's huge because what's gonna end up happening is everything will get done. But the people that wake up at 6 o'clock to go to work are used to having their road plowed. But when somebody's pulling more than one route, one of them's gonna suffer. One of them's gonna get plowed first and then the other one is. Barnstead got so bad last year, they called mutual aid for a plow truck. We couldn't help, but I've never seen that. I've seen mutual aid for everything, but not a plow truck, but they were looking for towns to help with that. The other thing we do not have is we're missing an SRO. We have one school that has no school officer in it. And we have always had both of our schools protected. So we have one school that has a full-time SRO. We have not been a school resource officer. So usually we have a resource officer that's tasked and full-time with each school. They sort of follow the kids up through until they go to high school or middle school, vice versa. We have a high school one, we have a middle school one. We lost one to retirement. We funded it. The funding didn't get passed in the last 2 budgets, so they left the position. We had to leave it unfilled because we don't have the funding for it. So right now we do what we can. I don't want to tell, and I'm not going to let the public think that we're leaving a school completely unprotected. The only thing is it's hit or miss because we're pulling people off the road to go in and sit in the school for a little while and come back out. So these are all just, and I'll talk more about it. I'm not going to waste all your time tonight going on it because as we talk about the budgets, I'll talk a little more about what we're feeling in those particular departments and what we're doing. But I've heard it a lot out in the general public. I'm sure you have. Well, if they're making it work now, why do we need to spend more money? Why do we need to give them more money? They haven't really, the full impact of what has happened is not going to hit them until next year when things happen, because if this happens again, because we've really, like I said, we must be down, I think 7 positions now, 7 townwide, full-time positions in order to make up the difference, to just pay the employees we actually have right now, so.
Well, last year and the year before, we did our part as a budget committee by approving the budget. It's
Absolutely.
I don't know how we get the word out to
Yeah.
people, it's.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
that's
think
why I
that-
told you,
that's a key. You got- you have to-
that's on me. That's on me and the rest of, that's where I come in. I'm just trying to help because you guys being known on the budget committee, you're gonna be asked these questions out in town. And I wanna relay as much information as I can to you too, so when they say, well, why did you vote for that? Or why are you putting money in there? These are the reasons why. And I will get, every time we have a department head or we have a budget here, I will probably talk in depth more about each line and where we're at and why we're expending this. But you're exactly right. The budgets for the last 2 years in a row have been approved by the budget committee, approved by the board of selectmen combined. They've been unified. And that's what you need. That's great. I don't necessarily know what the answer is. I do know that there's a lot of people that aren't going out to vote. The number's very low. Our last vote, I think, was 690 or 680.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
Yeah, we're usually at least in the high 900s, 1,000. Which is low for our voter pool, but even in the high 900s, we were still 300, 400, 350 short of our normal goal. People just weren't coming out. So I'm hoping that when I do some of these initiatives to get the word out, I'm going to try and do everything from old school to, a voter guide pamphlet to a podcast. So somebody could actually watch it if they didn't feel like reading, a 3-page voter guide or something like that. They can sit there and I can talk them to sleep at night.
I know, Brian,
Yeah.
nothing about town budgeting.
Mm-hmm.
Is there, are there opportunities, and I'm assuming this has been explored, like, like all the department heads are looking for ways to save or be more efficient, or like raising some town fees, or, kind of the moving things or increasing, so it's not all just in the budget, but the town finding ways to bring in some additional money to offset the needs.
Certainly, we look at all those. I'll tell you, one of the most recent money-saving tasks that was heavily explored over a year and a half with the Board of Selectmen was the new roll-off truck. I'll tell you. Okay, so the new roll-off truck is, we bought our own truck to haul dumpsters back and forth to
Okay.
the warehouse. Yeah, so the big 40-yard dumpsters. And I'll tell you, a member of the town came in and they was a little upset about that purchase last meeting with the Board of Selectmen. But if you didn't watch the meetings or see through it, what the reality of it was is, like everything else in the world, we're under contract with Waste Management and they have a hauling fee. And they literally tripled the hauling fee on us and we were held hostage. So we bought a brand new roll-off truck that roughly, what was it, like 58,000 a year in the lease, roughly?
Yeah, roughly.
60,000. Combined, our hauling costs, we're climbing next year to $112,000 a year for recycling, for demo, for everything. So we were paying another contracted place almost $112,000 when we could buy our own truck. And it's gonna be paid off in 4 years. So 4 years, you pay the truck off. And we don't even haul every day. We only haul 2, maximum 3 days a week, and we only make so many trips. So they've been augmenting it with one of the extra drivers they have. We didn't put an extra person on because that kind of matches it. If you hire somebody just to drive the truck in the truck, you're about at 112 anyways at that point. But the one big thing with that, and it came from experience, Seth pushed this, because Seth came from Wakefield.
Right.
And in Wakefield, they've been hauling themselves for a long time. And one of the unexpected benefits, again, it goes to speak to the revenue, is they were able to shop the best recyclable returns on their cans and stuff. So with our contract, everything goes to Waste Management. But there are other places that take this locally, so we can actually shop our returns and get more money for our recyclables. So that's another issue. But that's a good example. That's one
Yeah, no, that
initiative
is a
that was.
reasonable idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I will tell you that in municipal budgeting, and you're gonna see that at least, I'd say at least a strong 65 to 70% is all wage-based. It's all, it's your employees, and then again, it's all medical, dental benefits, New Hampshire retirement. Those are the biggest ones.
You mean that are missing from your first paycheck? Yeah.
Mhm.
So a question on the SRO, and I brought this up years ago and I was told, no. Why can't the school fund that?
The school is funding half of it.
Why can't they fund it all? And that way we'd have an SRO.
They only it's a grant,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure what the grant is, but
We were
it's,
just talking about it. and I
Legally,
didn't put
can-
numbers on it.
Legally, can it go into the school budget? That's what I asked years ago and I was told no. Has the law.
Legality of it.
I will tell you that one of it, I don't necessarily know 100% the legality of where the money is, but there was a big issue of it has to be an employee of they have to be employed by the police department. So I think that's why it had to be funded through there, because of the fact that, one, it's a group 2 position and nothing that belongs to the school is group 2. It's a group 1 retirement.
Well, they would be funded by the school. The money would be transferred to the police department or what? I mean,
Yeah.
You mean like the school would be paying us a perhaps reduced
So-
detail rate?
no, say it's 100,000. I just pulling a number out. Why couldn't the school, because the school budget always gets passed. The last time it didn't was Don Parks, I think. And he said the kids were gonna eat dog food, but. No, he did.
Wow.
No, he did. And the voters said no, and they didn't eat dog food. Really? somewhere.
Mhm.
But,
It was spam.
train is gone. Oh, yeah.
Alpha.
So, but the school budget always gets passed.
Yeah.
So why can't we look, or you guys look into donating the money? There's gotta be a way legally to get the money to the town, so you have an SRO then.
So right now, the way they do it, and you could definitely explore it further, but I will tell you that when Todd comes in to do his presentation, he'll show you what the funding is returned from the school. So basically, the school, through their grant funding, pays for all the hours that they're there in the school. And I think really what it comes down to is that all summer, they get put back out on patrol. And that helps us augment our tourist population, our influx, because our call volume goes up in the summer, just like everything else. So I think that's where there was a little bit of pushback with, well, why should we fund it all when 3 months out of the year, they're going to be working solely for the town and the town police department. So there is a split there, but when you see the split, then maybe we can look at how that is.
I'll find out for you.
Maybe
Get
you
back to you on that.
Bring it up and discuss it, just, I mean, especially with the wackiness nowadays.
Yeah.
But just to have,
And it's a very useful program in the school. I mean, we definitely miss having someone there all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a much stronger program when you have a dedicated officer, because then you have somebody that the kids develop a bond with. So right now, the only way that we're covering it is it's a rotation. So they'll see a duty officer for 1 day a week, when another one goes in 1 day a week. Where when we have, like the high school, we have assigned, we have Richards over there, Davis. And he does great. I think he's got 5 kids of his own anyway, so he's really good. The kids, but, yeah, we're looking to put somebody who, cause it really is a niche that, officers go, a career path, I should say, that they go in. That specialized training for the SRO, and they usually stay there for many, many years. A lot of them retire out as SROs, because not everybody wants to be in the school. One of the other things I do want to tell you, just to leave you with too, is one of the other things that we haven't decided on an amount. It hasn't been brought to the board yet, but I know the collective consensus is that we are going to put a lot of money from the fund balance towards offsetting the operating budget. We have $741,000 that came in from FEMA that has not been allocated back to offset the budget yet. That's from all of our road washouts and all those repairs that we funded through the operating budget over the since 2023. That's all came in. But, so that's $741,000 that we have that came from FEMA funding. It wasn't money through our taxation locally. It did. It came in, but it's still sitting in the
It's
account
still
because
sitting
the operating budget didn't pass, so it didn't offset anything. So, but there's 2 reasons to do what we're looking to do. One is because we're trying to play catch up. It's gonna be a higher hit, no matter what. But that offset will bring everything down, so we could literally offset the proposed operating budget with the default.
The increase.
The increase, we can offset it almost, I would say we're gonna be, we could easily do 100%. We have over $5.2 million in the fund balance right now.
but it's not really there.
It isn't. It is not. It's not an account.
remember that.
I'm telling you, I was just as disappointed as you were when I took this position. And I'm like, where's the fund balance? What's that bank account? They're like, it's not really a bank account. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Counting check.
Yeah, they're like, it's what you're valued at, it's what you're worth, but it's not really there. So, but basically you can offset what you're collecting based on that basic overvalue, I guess is what you call it or whatever. But the other reason why this is great timing to use that amount of money too, is because 2026 is a mandatory reval year. So we're gonna go through an entire reval, and that reval, every 5 years, that reval is gonna offset the tax rate significantly. Normally, you don't want to throw a lot of money down on the operating budget or anything that's not a one-time expense, because if it's reoccurring, you have to make it up the next year. So you get that whiplash effect. Oh, it's all great this year, but next year it's up here. Because we're going into a reval year, that is going to soften that blow significantly. There, you may not even feel it, because the reval readjusts all the evaluations, and unless the market falls out 100%, which I don't think it's going to before next year, there's gonna be some serious adjustments in property values.
And the tax rate should go down.
Should go down, absolutely. When we do a reval, the rate usually goes down. That's why I'm saying that when we put money to offset the operating budget going in
It
now.
evens out.
What's that? Yeah,
It evens out.
right.
Yeah, it
Yep.
does. Supposed
So,
to.
but these are different strategies that we're gonna be working on, and I figured, now, since we weren't looking at any budgets tonight, maybe having that discussion now, just to kind of prepare you for some of the stuff we're gonna see and what we're gonna do, and
I have one other thing, if I could.
Mhm.
So last year, Drew, were you gonna be our collections rep?
Yes.
Last year, before the end of the year, I asked for explanation of what you guys were gonna spend out of from the carryover, the surplus budget.
are you talking about,
The selectmen always buy things.
are you talking about, the, encumbrances?
Yeah,
Encumbrances,
I'd like to
Mhm.
get that from,
sure. Yeah, we usually do encumbrance requests is usually towards the end of November, though. Cause we won't know what we encumbered.
last year. Number got the.
Oh, from last year, oh, okay,
I
last
got
year,
the wrong
okay.
one last year. But
All
I
right,
thought we should-
yeah, I'll get Carol to pull that before next meeting, so.
There's.
It's a wish list.
Some of the maintenance and stuff and everything, they wait until the very end of the year to make sure that they don't have an emergency where they have to use it, and then because they didn't have an emergency on the vehicles, then they'll do the truck maintenance at the end of the year before they have to start. It gets to be.
Mhm.
plain
Yeah, no, I
and
get what you're saying now.
Things that I think they should have. So not that I don't trust you, but it's, yeah. That's-
Be honest.
No,
Usually
we
anything
have,
that they.
we can
incur,
ask
they
anything about money.
get
Yeah, but I just wanna know.
Doesn't
that's all.
just happen.
Absolutely.
You'd be surprised anyways, last year, I mean, being in the second year of default, or the first year of default too, it was marketably small. I think there was one encumbrance, but
Only one?
yeah, you'll be surprised when you see it. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure, I think it was only one encumbrance.
It was a Corvette for someone?
What? It was my company car, Greg. Didn't you see Drew drive in with one of the town seal on it? No. I will have that for you.
I'm just curious, that's,
Yeah, no, and you have every right to ask and no.
Mhm.
Yeah.
because I remember a few times the voters didn't approve things in the March election, and the selectmen did it anyway, with the encumbrances. And I think the school did it one year with paving. In fact, they did,
Yeah,
Paving,
paving, yeah.
yeah.
The voters said no, and they did it anyway. So that's, okay, I'm done, thank you.
All right, anything else?
Good.
Anybody want to discuss?
Make a motion to adjourn?
To adjourn?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're at-
Thank you.
You're right.